All right. So we are back with Marco and Tony from the Relationship
Hello.
Podcast, and we're
Hiya.
gonna get into the Ask Yo Aunteas. So, what time is it?
Ask ya
your
I wanted to take the high note.
Right.
I always go low.
Ooh.
Yolanda Adams.
Put that
Who's gonna
bass in
Yolanda
your
Adams
walk.
that one?
Right.
Yolanda Adams album.
Come on now. I opened up my heart. Okay. It says, so I'm in a relationship and love my partner very much, only he doesn't have the kinky side to him that I do. I recently had a one night stand and that was a lot of fun. No strings, just a fun time and great orgasm. I hate being a cheater and I feel bad as I truly do love my boyfriend. I just sometimes need to feel wild and adventurous. Does this make me awful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I be in love and have a life with someone, but also have anonymous sex from time to time? So I'm in a relationship.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. My bad. That came in twice. So yeah. So it says, "Am I awful? And can I be in love and have a life with someone, but also have anonymous sex from time to time?"
I mean, yes, you're awful because you cheated, and that was
Right.
not the terms of your relationship.
Right.
So I'm not here to make anybody feel bad about it, but you should definitely reevaluate your relationship and your choices because that's just not fair. That said, you're not a bad person. It happens. We all make mistakes, so whatever. But I definitely think it doesn't make you awful. I jumped the gun on that. It doesn't make you awful. It doesn't make you awful, but it was not a great decision because again, you are cheating on someone. That said, the next part of the question, which is, can I be in love and have a life with someone, but also have anonymous sex from time to time? Yeah, you just have to change the terms of your relationship or find the person that is going to be willing to honor that kind of relationship, because there are open relationships that are out there, right? So you're more than willing to have a primary or have this person that you love and then still have your little fun side things to do as well. It's the cheating part that I have a really hard time with. As a person who's been cheated on like multiple times in relationships, that like really hits a chord with me because you just didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. And as Tony always says, there are so many steps.
Too many steps.
Between.
Too many steps.
Meeting the person and then sleeping with them.
You don't enter a space with a person and then enter the person without multiple things happening in between.
It's
You're
true.
right. You're
And
right.
then
so-
one of those is a turning point.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And so
Or
for me,
or a point to stop. Yeah.
yeah, and so for me, it's that's the part that I'm getting hung up on. But that being said, it doesn't make you a bad person. We all make mistakes, but you cheated on your partner, and call a spade, and you should really think about that.
Tony, what you thinking?
I like to pick things apart. So I'm in a relationship and I love my partner very much. I believe you. I absolutely believe you. And I think that is a motivation. He doesn't have a kinky side. That's a separate skill. You can develop that together. You can work on that. Like, what does that even mean? Does it mean something to you that it doesn't mean to your partner? Are there things that your partner is willing to do that really turn you on? Are there things that your partner's not willing to do that are actually not a big deal for you? Like, is
He
it
might
dirty
just want to
talk?
pull
Is
out
it
a
being tied up?
crimper and crimp his hair. That could be kinky for him. Like that could be fun.
you know.
Or crimp his pubic hair.
Exactly.
That's a new one.
Exactly. Who knows? White people got that kind of pubic hair.
Ew.
That like
Ew.
You get that 1987 crimper.
Ew.
exactly. Put a scrunchie in it and everything.
Done.
You also go on to say, I had a one-night stand that was a lot of fun, no strings, just fun, and a great orgasm. Nowhere in there did you say that person was kinky. So I have to wonder if these things are unrelated.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna like interject really quickly. First time sex is always more exciting.
That part.
It's
That
always
part.
more exciting,
100%.
right?
I never experienced that.
Oh, it always
Really?
is because
Sex with a person always got better over time. It was not great at the beginning. But I've never
I've
had
had
it.
some
Not
great
that I've
ones.
never had it.
I've had some great ones.
I mean,
I
Not
feel
that I
like
haven't had good sex, but not that I haven't had good sex with strangers. What I'm saying is, the first time I had sex with you, that's one thing. But if I had sex with you more often, it got better.
I also
And again,
feel,
that's the skills y'all can't watch.
well, no, but I also feel like there's also like I just feel like one of the thing about a relationship is that you always end up bringing everything else into the
into it.
bedroom, which is
Yeah.
always problematic, right? Because your financial problems, their crazy mother, all of those things
I
end
think
up
that's
following
why
you
our sexual
into the bedroom.
experiences were different. Is if y'all do that, I don't bring that stuff in the bedroom.
You shouldn't. I'm not
Should have
saying
put it in a
it's
box.
right.
I just keep
and put
bringing
that
me.
on the nightstand
I'm not-
outside the bedroom.
I'm
So
not
it
saying
didn't.
it's
It didn't make it
and
through
give
the
you all
door.
this
It did
Pisces
not make it
energy.
through the door. The only
I
thing
can
that got through
also
the door
tell
was my
you
boner.
though. I can also tell you though that I have had a couple of one night stands, only literally like
The only thing that made it to the door is
And-
my boner. That's the line of this
That's your
episode right
soundbite.
there.
That's your
Exactly. We
soundbite
got
right
it right
there.
there.
I have literally had like 2 one night stands, and they were very two. Yeah. One
Ooh,
that
fat
turned
it.
it was like a one night
Oh,
stand that was like
damn.
then it turned into a little bit more. But
Look
like
at me. I'm over here like fidgeting. I'm like, ooh.
and it was exciting the first time, right? Because you didn't know there was a little bit of danger, there was a little bit, like all of it just like kind of felt crazy. So like first time sex is always great, but try being in a relationship with that person afterwards, right? Because you don't know that you're compatible in a relationship capacity, but you know that your peen loves his butt or vice
Right.
versa,
Right.
like whatever. So anyways,
Okay, what's the next part we breaking down, Tony?
Okay, so to continue to pick it apart, I'm sorry, I'm very nitpicky. But it says, I hate being a cheater. You don't hate it enough. I feel bad. You don't feel bad enough. As I truly do love my boyfriend, I just sometimes need to feel wild and adventurous. That's okay. But if you're going to be in an honest relationship, bring that person who needs to be wild and adventurous to the forefront, have an honest conversation and talk about what ethical non-monogamy looks like for you. And be an adult, and if that's not the relationship that person wants to be in with you, or if it's much later and that's not the relationship you're currently in, be an adult and end it. Just be an adult and end it. Does this make me awful? No, it doesn't make you awful. But as we said earlier, you can be awful and you can be great at the same time. It's okay to be both those things. It's normal. And like, fast forward past the end of the Disney movie because they have to live together later and they do crappy shit to each other and we never see that. So it's okay. Both things are true. Yeah. Can I be in love and have a life with someone, but also have anonymous sex from time to time? As Marco said, yes, you can, as long as you are ethical, as long as you're upfront about it, as long as you all have an agreement, whether that's just on your birthday or every time you feel like it, or anything in between or beyond
hoes
that.
in different area codes.
Oh, come on, Luda.
No one makes up the rules but you. But when you establish the rules, follow them, or you don't get to play the game.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I love to make out, and I tell Tony all the time that I would just love to be able to like make out. Like it's just one of those things. Like I love making out with my husband, but like, I would love to. He's not.
Because here's the thing: you are sending your husband to jail. I can't afford a record in my line of work.
But that's our relationship, right? Like some people would be like, making out is not cheating. But like in our relationship, it is cheating. Like,
but do you remember like the second night that we went out and you were like, oh, and then you stopped. I was like, that's that guy that wanted to make out with you, isn't it?
No, that's
remember that when you like
I made out with him like weeks before. Yeah,
right.
Like weeks before I met you.
And then he came up and I was like, I'm gonna snap his arm.
Oh man,
I don't know.
Dawon, what you thinking, boo?
Honestly, I don't have too much to add to this. I think what you both brought to the table in terms of this, I think it's right aligned with where my head is at. I found it problematic that in this very short explanation of what he wants, he basically told us that he's a cheater. And I can't imagine that this is the only time. You know, it's not like, oh, I did this one time, I did this one thing with this one person and I feel bad about it. It's like, I hate being a cheater, but you are claiming being a cheater. So that's telling me something about who you are and what your personality is and what you want. I find it interesting that people will continue to pursue a relationship that does not serve them.
Right.
Oh,
All
because they think they have to.
okay,
right,
Pastor.
Right, Pastor Hawkins.
Exactly. Jeez,
But it's like-
Deacon Hawkins over here.
it's wild because you're not honoring yourself.
Right.
Because you're not giving yourself what you want and need out of a relationship. You're not honoring the other person, you know, because you're not giving them the fullness of yourself. And so, you know, neither of you have the possibility of being happy because there's a lack of honesty that exists between you two and a lack of alignment in terms of what's acceptable. So, and people will cling on to a relationship for whatever reason, you know, financial reasons, for the fact that they just don't want to be alone reasons, for the fact that they have for the fact that they're, you know, their partner may be really, really attractive and they view them as a piece of arm candy versus a human being, you know, and they don't want to lose those things. Yeah. I find it problematic because you're just not living in your truth, you know. And I would just encourage anybody, regardless of whatever you're into, you know, it's just like, I equate it to rape. You know, and I know that's pretty harsh, but at the end of the day, you're not giving your partner a chance. You're violating them every single time you take these actions. That's rape. They didn't sign up for it. They don't want it. They don't desire it. They're not asking for it. You chose that, and you're inflicting them with that pain every single time you make a choice to feed your own desires versus just having a conversation and being courageous. So, you know, I mean, I'm sorry we had to go there, but at the end of the day, you took it there.
Ooh.
Ooh, damn. Ooh. Okay. I don't even know what benediction past the collection plate. Shit. What the hell am I supposed to say?
I am proud to be in the service.
Right. Okay, now. Where my tambourine at?
Where my giant purple church?
I've heard that. I've not heard that song in a long time, man. Wow, that's a throwback church hymn. Yeah, I feel bad in a way because, like, I took the cheating part as like maybe he's already beat himself up and now he's labeling himself the cheater. He's already like throwing the stones at himself. Like I kind of didn't take it as a habitual thing, but it could be. At this point, you're just gonna have to have that conversation. Like, if you do love this person and adore this human being, now it's time to have the conversation. It's just like, say what you did, fess up to it. You might have to reap what you sow. It is what it is. But you at least selfishly owe it to yourself, quite honestly. Get what you want. Because if he's not kinky, you're not gonna be able to get it. Like, yes, I get it. It can be learned and things like that. And maybe that's a conversation that you need to have, because maybe low-key he wants it more kinkier too, and you know, you both ain't getting satisfied. So I think you both owe it to each other to at least have that conversation. But it's going to be a tough one because you're going to have to say what happened and things like that, because like you said, it wasn't the terms of your agreement. But maybe the term, like, maybe it's like going to Verizon, but like, hey, I don't like this contract. I want a new one. Hey, and you know, and can negotiate
I want
that.
All 5 of the G's.
You know, all of them, the ultra wide bands, all of the bands. So I think that's one of the things you're just gonna have to owe to yourself and also to the person if you do love them and care for them. Because I think it is sometimes, you know, there's certain conversations that you know might set your significant other over, and you a lot of times try to tiptoe. You're like, damn, I don't feel like having this conversation. I know what's about to happen. But that's part of being, unfortunately, in a relationship. And put your big boy pants on and have it.
Unfortunately.
And you know, exactly. Unfortunately, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
how much time does a person have to wait in a relationship that's not working for them? You know, like, what's the opportunity cost here? You know, the fact that you chose to step out of your relationship as opposed to have a meaningful conversation to define the terms. And it's not to say that you didn't have a conversation, but I'm saying a meaningful conversation where you and your partner come to terms so that you don't have to feel like a cheater. Because if at the end of the day, you realize through that conversation that it's not going to change for them, that, they're very, let's just call it vanilla, whatever vanilla means, and that's just not what you're into. And you're going to always crave something different. Why would you put yourself, let's just talk about selfishness. Why would you put yourself in that position to always be disappointed with the relationship that you have because you're not being sexually satisfied? And then furthermore, through your disappointment, you're now making someone else suffer. Like, just have the conversation. Have the conversation, figure it out.
And have it multiple times, because your position, pun intended, will evolve.
Well, I also think it's very important too, though, because like we kind of hit on the cheating part more than we did anything else, but we also have to understand that kink within itself is not quote unquote commonplace, right? And everyone has a different definition. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, Kerel. Like, everyone has a different definition of kink, right? And because you've never actually had the conversation about your kinks and the things that you like and or any of that stuff, like, you don't even know what your partner's kinks are. Your partner might have this secret kink that they've just been programmed to not come out with, because kinks are usually shamed, or there's this element of like, girl, don't talk about that out loud kind of thing, like, and so you essentially did not give your partner the benefit of the doubt, but instead chose the route of cheating because you thought you would get more out of that than talking to your partner about what could potentially happen. And that's not fair. That is not fair to them, because you could have a whole like key conversation. Again, Tony and I literally sat in front of a microphone and talked about our fantasies and things, wanting to like go to like a sex party and things of these natures. Like, if he doesn't ask me those questions, how is he ever supposed to know that I feel that way?
Because a lot of times you're not going to voluntarily, like you said, give that up, because there might be some trauma, there might be some shame behind it, there's a whole lot of
there
shit.
Definitely will be. Definitely will be.
Kerel, you're sitting up there eating your cereal in the morning, and Corey just comes over, is like, you know what? One of these days I want you to take a ear of corn and just stick it in my ear until
boo.
You know what
I'm, like, I'm the wrong one. I'll be like, okay, let's go to Kroger right now, ho.
Which ear you want? Which of the corn?
Right, you got two ears.
You want a hairy? You
want me to shuck the corn? You want me to shuck the corn? Do you want me to cut the corn in half? You want me to grill it? What kind of corn? You want cream corn? You want cream corn? Okay, cream corn. There we go.
Cream corn.
And so there's just
I'm the wrong one to ask.
Ways. But that's my thing, is like, unless you know what your partner wants, like you're counting them out, like, right? Like, so you just decided that cheating was easier than talking to them about it, which I personally feel like is a huge red flag, right? Because if you felt like you could even talk to them, but it was easier to go cheat on them, then like, you probably shouldn't be in the relationship anymore. But that being said, like, you also discounted them. You don't know that.
And for everyone that's listening to, this isn't just like sex stuff. Like there's ways we all justify shit in relationships. It's just not sex. We relate, like, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, there's other ways we also quote unquote cheat and things like that we don't give the benefit out or allow the conversation to be had. So yes, because like I feel like a lot of times when we say cheating, it always goes sexual, and that's
there's
always the worst thing.
There's intellectual, there's financial.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a myriad of, totally.
So there can't be more holier than thou when you're spending all your coins without your husband knowing it. So there's other shit out there as well.
There's
to be cheating in your relationship on. So it's like whatever that term of agreement. And I think the hard thing sometimes though in relationships, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship, is you think those terms of agreements have to stay the same from day one to eternity.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the hardest thing that I probably had to learn.
I'm just waiting for Tony to let me kiss people. That's all.
That's it, Tony. He said, I don't think that terms ain't changing.
Go to jail.
Baby, I am
We've covered this.
I'm just kidding.
But community continue to send in your Ask Yo Auntie questions at aya@minorityareport.com or DM us or text us if you know us in real life, all that good stuff. We enjoy these questions. And we got some juicy ones out there, and
Yes, ma'am.